Hello, I'm Jashikins, and welcome to another episode of Jash Reads. This time, Chapter 19 from Animorphs #1, The Invasion by K.A. Applegate. I don't fucking know what I'm doing. We left straight from the mall, hopping a bus out to the gardens, which is clear across the city. On the way, I tried to catch up on my homework. I had missed a lot of classes that day, so I borrowed class notes from my friends. Rachel kept perfect notes. Tobias had terrible notes with all kinds of little drawings in the margins. It took a while before I could figure out what they were. They were buildings and people and cars, the way they looked from high up in the sky. I don't really need to go in, Tobias said as we pooled our limited cash to buy tickets. I'm happy with just my Hawkmorph. I don't want to be anything else. I think that's a mistake, Rachel said. Our one real weapon is the part of morph. We should acquire as many useful morphs as we can. What kind of animal morphs are going to be able to deal with Fisher 3 when he turns into that big monster that ate the Andalite? I asked. There was nothing in this zoo or any other that was going to kick that big monster's butt. Marco winked. Fleas? No one can kill fleas. We'll itch him to death. I had to smile. So now you're suddenly Mr. Hopeful? No, I'm just so scared I'm getting weird, he said. I haven't done this morphine stuff. You guys all have. I'm not even a full-fledged Animorph yet. I'm still normal. I still feel normal, Cassie said. She looked troubled. Cassie, you can turn into a horse, Marco said. Very few normal kids can do that. It's different for Jake, turning into a lizard. He's always been a reptile. I took a good-natured swing at Marco, but he dodged it. It was cool having Marco with us, even if he was giddy. It took about a half an hour to reach the main gate of the gardens. I climbed down off the bus feeling nervous. Not at all like I usually felt going there. I mean, the gardens is just about my favorite place to go normally. But normally, I'm not going there to get personal with dangerous animals. The main part of the gardens is rides. They have all the usual stuff like roller coasters, which are my personal favorite, and Ferris wheels and water slides. But they also have an animal part, which is like a zoo, only cooler. They do dolphin shows, and there's this whole section where you can get close to some of the safer animals. And this monkey habitat they have is like a whole monkey city, practically. Anyway, if I were an animal and I had to be in a zoo, I'd want to be there. Cassie led us to the main building, which holds all kinds of exhibits. It has everything but the really big animals that need lots of space. Those animals are farther out, mostly, in big grassy habitats that look like parks. Parks with walls and moats and fences around them. The main building is supposed to be like a rainforest, I guess. It's where they keep animals that need to be warm all the time. There's a pathway that winds around with tall tropical trees overhead, with bushes here and there between the exhibits. Some of the exhibits are tiny and some are really big, like the area they have for otters. It has a waterfall and a water slide for the otters to play in. We were near the otter habitat when Cassie stopped. Okay, Now everyone stay together and try not to be too suspicious looking, she said. I'm taking you inside. Inside where? Marco asked. Well, the way it works is there are walkways behind all these exhibits. That's how they feed the animals and give them meds or whatever. Meds or medicines. Sorry, she pointed to an inconspicuous doorway. Anyway, we can go in through there. It was an odd change from outside to inside. One minute we were in this fake rainforest. The next minute we were in what looked like a hallway at school. Only the smell was worse. Kind of damp and moldy and musty. More like the boys' locker room. Okay, look, if any staff people stop us, the story is we're here to see my mom, Cassie said. Of course, it's so late in the afternoon she won't be here. I hope. Because if she finds out I've been dragging 4 of my friends around back here, well, I can't be saving the world from alien invaders if I'm grounded. Hopefully there won't be many staff people here at all. We shuffled along the hallway, feeling like we definitely did not belong, which we didn't. On either side of the main hall there were side paths that led to the different exhibits. Unfortunately, the doorways to the exhibits just had numbers on them. I knew we'd have to rely on Cassie's knowledge to find our way around. But some of those doors were animals you didn't want to just walk in on. How do you guys feel about gorillas? Cassie asked. She had stopped by one of the numbered doors. This is Big Jim's cage. He just came over from another zoo, so he's in his own private environment for now. He's very gentle. Slowly, it dawned on me what Cassie was saying. Oh, you mean, does one of us want to acquire his DNA? That is why we're here, Jake, Rachel pointed out. She batted her eyes at Marco. How about you, Marco? Haven't you always wanted to be a big, hairy guy? Marco didn't look like he was crazy about the idea. But I knew how to handle Marco. Maybe Marco should try something easier for his first morph, I said. You know, like a cuddly little koala or something. That did it. Koala, Marco said, giving me a dirty look. Open that door, Cassie. He hesitated. You said gentle, right? Gorillas are extremely gentle, Cassie said. Then in a quieter voice she added, unless you make them mad. Cassie opened her backpack. She took out an apple and handed it to Marco. Here, you just open the door. The way it's set up, none of the visitors will be able to see you unless you walk clear out into the cage. Besides, there's an extra security gate, so he can't just jump out and you can't just walk in. So we just open the door and hope Big Jim feels like eating. Behind the door was a second door of steel bars with a little cutaway section for the handlers to shove the food through. The entire door opening was concealed behind a fake rock ledge so it wasn't visible to the people looking into the cage. But Big Jim noticed us right away. He climbed heavily down from his perch on a rock ledge and took a good look at us through the bars. Big Jim was definitely big. He had fingers the size of my wrist. But Jim didn't seem to mind us being there. Mostly he seemed interested in Marco's apple. He looked Marco over, snorted like he wasn't impressed, and then held out his hand. Hand him the apple, Cassie directed. He wants the apple. I loved your work in King Kong vs. Godzilla, Marco told the ape. He stuck his hand through the bars and held out the apple. With surprising daintiness, the gorilla lifted the apple and began inspecting it closely. Hold his hand, I said. Yeah, right, Marco laughed. When you acquire DNA, the animal goes into a kind of trance, I said. Go ahead, grab his hand and concentrate. Marco tentatively touched the gorilla's wrist. Nice, monkey. The gorilla ignored him. Big Jim was much more interested in the apple than in any of us. Concentrate, Rachel urged. Marco closed his eyes. The ape closed his eyes. This is so cool, Tobias commented. You realize that gorilla could pull Marco apart like he was a paper doll. Look at those arms. Marco opened one eye. Tobias, being terrified gets in the way of concentrating. So how about you shut up about his arms? Suddenly I heard a whirring sound. I looked down the hall, then back. It was one of those electric carts, like a golf cart. It was coming toward us. Just act natural, Cassie hissed. Marco slipped out and she slammed the door on Big Jim. As long as it isn't the security guy, we're probably okay. The cart came up to us. Its driver was a man wearing a stained tan lab coat over his jeans. In the back of the car were two large white plastic buckets full of something brown and horrible smelling. Hey, you're Cassie, right? The doc's kid? How's it going? Fine, Cassie said. She waved casually, and the man drove right on past. That was easy, Rachel said. He didn't even seem to care that we're back here. Well, where next? Cassie wondered. We were at a four-way corner. There were blank, white painted hallways in all directions. An electric golf cart was parked there too. Where are we near? I asked. Cassie thought for a moment. Okay, that walkway leads to the outer exhibits. That one leads to the offices and storage facilities. These two go around the main building exhibits. We're close to, let me see, bats and snakes that way, the jaguar and the dolphin tank that way. Rachel started down the hallway to our right. Dolphins. I love dolphins. Wait, Cassie said, trotting after her. What are we going to do with dolphin morphs? I think we should go out to the big exhibits. Marcus said, let's get serious about this. We need firepower. Come on. Let's stick together, I said as Marcus started down the hall. I reached out to grab him before he got too far away. And that's when the voice yelled. Hey you, what are you kids doing back here? I saw a guy in a brown uniform. Security, Cassie yelped. Oh man, they'll take us all into the office. They'll call my mom. I do not want to explain this to her. Split up, I said, trying to sound like a leader. Just like at the construction site. One guy can't get us all. This guy looks like my grandfather, Rachel said. Not like that Hork-Bajir that was after us. You kids, hold on. Oh man, Cassie said. With that, she took off down one hallway. Rachel and Tobias went after her. Mark was already 20 yards down the other hall, the one that led out to the large exhibits. I ran to catch up. The guard reached the corner. I saw him glance toward Tobias and the girls. Then he looked at me and Marco. I guess Marco and I looked more suspicious. Because he chose us. Stop! You kids better stop. Let's grab the golf cart, Marco said. Steal a golf cart? If we don't take it, that guard will. Good point. We jumped in the cart. Marco slid behind the wheel. He turned the key to on. He looked at me. Just like driving bumper cars, right? Only you try not to hit anything. He put his foot down on the pedal. The electric motor made a whirring sound, and we took off. Straight toward the wall. Bam! Hey, try steering! I yelled. We backed up and took off again. We picked up speed, enough to pull away from the guard. When I looked back, he was still jogging after us. He's going to have a heart attack, I said. Which way? What? Which way? I turned around to face forward. We had reached a T corner. Right! I yelled. Naturally, Marco turned left. I nearly fell out. Almost immediately, we reached another corner. This time, Marco did choose right. And I did fall out of the cart. I hit the linoleum and rolled. Then I was up and racing to catch the cart. What are you doing? Marco demanded when he saw me. Quit playing around. I just gave him a dirty look and climbed back in. I think we lost the guard, Marco said. I'm fine. Thanks for asking, I said. Just a few bruises, maybe a cracked skull, nothing serious. Where do you think we are? I think we are in the longest tunnel I've ever seen, I said. It was more and more like a tunnel now. The floor was still linoleum, and the walls were still whitewashed, but the lights were getting more spread out, so you definitely had the feeling you were underground. I wonder if they caught the others, Marcus said. Now do you see why it's crazy to think we can beat the Yerks? I mean, come on. We can barely beat zoo security. We haven't beat anyone yet, I said grimly. Look! Way up ahead, there were two guys in brown uniforms. Maybe they don't know who we are, Marcus suggested. They might think we're regular employees. Maybe, but not if they get a good look at us. I pointed. There's a turnoff. Take it. We turned. At the same time, the guards started yelling. The side corridor grew narrower. Too narrow for the golf cart. Ditch it. I jumped out. Marco jumped after me. We could hear the guards' footsteps as they ran down the main tunnel. These guys were in better shape than the old man. These guys could run. The corridor ended abruptly. There were two doors, one a little to the left, one a little farther to the right. They were labeled PTO1 and PTO3. No help at all. Pick a door, Marcus said. I took a deep breath. Door number 1. I opened PTO1. A blast of fresh air hit me. Sunlight blinded me. I blinked, trying to get my eyes to adjust. The rhinoceros blinked too. Ah! I yelled. Ah! Marco yelled. We jumped back and slammed the door. Wrong door, Marco said. Definitely wrong, I agreed. Hey, you kids, stop right there. The guards were just at the end of the corridor. Gotta try door number 2, I said. Do it! We opened the door and ran through. There were trees all around us. Trees and grass. We were in the shade. Sunlight filtered down through the leaves. Just ahead, the bushes gave way to open grass. Where are we? Marco asked. Like I know? We worked our way through some bushes, keeping a careful eye out in all directions. We didn't see any animals, just some birds up in the trees. Hey, there are people, Marco said. He dropped down behind a bush and pointed. There were people lined up behind a railing. They were high up, or else we were low down. I parted the bushes to get a better look. The people were leaning against a railing at the top of a high concrete wall. They couldn't see us because of the bushes, but they were definitely all staring at something. We're definitely in one of the habitats, I said. There are people looking at whatever is in here with us. I'm just hoping it isn't that rhino. That thing was way too big. How do we get out of here? I don't know. Let's just get away from the door. Those guards will be coming after us any second. But you know, in the back of my mind, I was thinking, why haven't those guards come after us yet? Marco and I crawled through the bushes and around the bases of the big trees. We reached a corner of the wall, hidden from all the people above. That is an awfully high wall, Marco observed. That's got to be 30 feet high. This is not good. That wall is high for a reason. There's something in here that they don't want to escape. I scanned the wall. There was a steel ladder set into the concrete about 50 yards away. I guess that's the only way out. Let me ask you something, Marco said. Why haven't the guards come after us? I mean, if this was like the deer and antelope exhibit, they'd come in, wouldn't they? We have to think, not panic, I said. I'm trying not to think about why the guards didn't come in here. I moved back into the shadows of the bushes. Besides, maybe there's nothing in here at all. I squatted down on my haunches. My butt touched something warm. I had a terrible feeling right at that moment. I looked up and saw Marco. Normally, Marco has kind of a dark tan face, but his face was white, and his eyes were very large. Marco, I said, very slowly and very quietly, is there something behind me? He nodded. What is it, Marco? Jake? It's a tiger. That end chapter. I'm sorry, that was a really long chapter for me. This one took 2 takes. It was just, I know I messed up with the coughing and then with some stuttering and messing up slightly. But the first take took like 17 minutes, and well, you know, it's filmed late at night. I started filming this at 12:30. It's now 1:20, and it's like I'm going to still have to wait some time for this to upload. So, you know, I'm sorry. It's just like I was looking at the timing issues and yeah, sorry. Really sorry for the quality. I shouldn't be saying this. I should be saying it's the best damn thing, and you should appreciate me for doing this for you. Anyways, we ended at a nice cliffhanger, and I don't want to give away spoilers, but the rhinoceros, yeah, that's fun, and the dolphins. I'm going to, hopefully I remember to make one joke in a later book, but yeah. Anyways, if you have any comments or questions about this chapter, comment below. Just no big spoilers. Minor spoilers, okay, like I just said, you know, the rhino and the dolphin play something into the series later. And, but yeah, I sort of want people, if they're just discovering Animorphs and they just say, hey, look at this person doing a dramatic reading, maybe I don't have time to read, or whatever reason, I'll just check it out for free. Oh, look, it's actually interesting. Let me check it out. So, please. And, as always, I swear, tomorrow I'm going to have to get more sake, so like it doesn't turn out into next week. Then I'm like, oh, I should get sake, then don't. But if you drink alcohol, you know, take some alcohol around you and, you know, take a little shot. If you don't drink alcohol for whatever reason, either you're underage and you just don't drink, you know, get something healthy like water. Water's good for you. That's why here. You know, take a shot of that or whatever. Take a sip. Take a huge gulp. And the bloopers will be released, you know, later. And if you are interested in actually reading the book, you know, you want to read ahead, you're like, I don't want to wait a week for the next 2 chapters, I need everything now, what's going to happen with Jake and the tiger, you know? So, you know, if you're watching this on the YouTubes, down below is a link to buy a copy of the book, and if you're watching this on my blog, down below is a link to buy, you know, the book, both from Amazon. And here's to Jake's butt. And until next video, goodbye.